Hello everybody, my name is Jake One and today we shall be interviewing some people for my own impact project. Without further ado, let's get to these clips of people when I ask them about their dog. More specifically, oxytocin. Let's get this on. What is your name?
Morgan.
What last name too?
Milstead.
And what kind of dog do you have?
Golden Doodle.
And do you play with him often?
Yes.
How does it make you feel after you play with him?
Happy.
Can you be more specific?
Well, I feel in a better mood after I play with my dog.
I see. Is there anything more you would like to tell us about after you play with your massive dog?
I don't know. My dog attacks me all the time.
But
I still.
But when he attacks you, do you look into his eyes?
No.
Oh, I see. Alright, that is all. You may leave now. Goodbye. State your name, please.
My name is Calvin McLean here.
And what kind of dog do you have?
I have 4 dogs. All of them are mixed breeds except for one. The one purebred is a English setter, white with brown spots. The other is a terrier of some sort, Yorkie. Yeah.
I see. And when you play with one of these dogs, how does it make you feel?
Makes me feel pretty happy. Yeah.
And when you play with them, do you tend to look in their eyes?
Yes. Although I do know that can be stated as a challenge to dogs that you aren't accustomed to.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, when you have any other interaction with your dogs, such as when you're feeding them, how does it make you feel when they look at you for a brief moment, when you look at them, how does that make you feel?
Pretty well, yeah.
Thank you. That will be all, Calvin Yardley. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to be interviewed. Yeah. What is your name?
Name's Oliver.
And what kind of dog do you have?
Well, I had a husky, but I'm getting this in weight soon. Yeah.
And when you played with your husky, how did you feel after you played with him?
I feel fuzzy in the inside,
And when you played with him, you would look into his eyes sometimes. Am I correct?
Yeah, of course. Eye contact is key.
So when you have any other social interaction with any other dog, like with even your own dog as you were feeding him, how did you feel?
How did I feel while interacting with other dogs?
Yes, and after.
I'd feel the same way, but just on a lower extent,
I see. Thank you. That will be all. Thank you for taking your time, Oliver. What's your name?
Andrew Damon Miller.
And what kind of dog do you have?
She's a mix. Oh, sorry, my head's been cut off. She's a mix between a Jack Russell Terrier and Basset Hound. There's a few other things too, but I don't remember.
And when you play with your dog, how do you feel?
I feel like Sonny, ignore Jason. Play with me for once.
But when you actually play with her, and then after you play, how do you feel?
I always find myself talking to her, saying, "Oh, you are."
Happy?
Kind of happy. She's really soft. She's huggable, but she doesn't let me hug her.
And when you have any sort of interactions with her, as in feeding her, how do you feel?
Like she just wants me for food.
But does it make you happy? Like when you look into her eyes, and how do you feel? Does it make you feel happy, sad? What are your emotions when you look at her?
I don't know. I just look at her and I know I gotta take care of her. If I just leave her,
so a feeling of protectiveness.
Well, because she chases after deer, and one day they didn't stop. They just stopped running. They turned around. They just looked at her, and she knew something was wrong. They kicked her.
Oh.
Turkeys have tried to claw her.
I mean, this is
she's a small.
We don't have.
Okay,
yes, we understand. This is only for the interview, Mr. Miller. Thank you for taking the time out of your study. You can leave now. We were very sorry to hear about the traumatic instruments that happened to your dog. But the door is that way.
My dad because she was embarrassed.
So as we saw here, all these subjects felt somewhat happy or like they're being close to their dog. Well, this is due to a hormone called oxytocin. Now, what is oxytocin? Well, oxytocin is the happiness hormone, which basically makes you feel happy. Well, duh. But you know how when you play with your dog, you get that warm, fuzzy feeling inside? That's oxytocin doing its job. Now, what does oxytocin have to do with impact? Well, it's mostly on women. And before we get into here, I must say this is kind of a touchy subject since it involves pregnancy and birth. But anyway, oxytocin helps women during birth, as in, to put it mildly, they slip out easier. But oxytocin doesn't just apply to women also. Men kind of benefit from oxytocin, as you read in my blog post. But more of that later. Right now we're only focusing on what oxytocin is. Oxytocin is a hormone, which means it affects your brain. Now oxytocin, shown here, it spreads into your body when your dog makes eye contact with you. Not only this research, we're in this interview where I've shown that people are happy when they interact with their dogs, but studies have also shown oxytocin levels grow. Not just in humans either, but in dogs. Alright, so that is all for this section. In the next section, I'll be talking about what oxytocin does to men. What I'm actually going to be doing is talking about what oxytocin can do for you. Now, like I said, oxytocin is a happiness hormone, but what does that mean? Well, it means that you'll be more generous, your woman can give birth better, and you'll be able to digest stuff easier. So, when you're being more generous, by generous, I mean you like to give out stuff better, you're more kind, and just all in all, become a greater person. How? Scientists don't know. But since oxytocin is a hormone which affects the brain, that might have something to do with it. There we have Joey crawling on the floor. I'm not sure if you can see it. Anyway, going back to the video. And as for a woman being able to for the babies to come out easier, I already explained that. Oxytocin is a weird hormone, guys. It's a happiness hormone, but it's also the woman giving birth hormone. Now finally, it can make your digestive tract much more slimier, I guess? Basically, you can digest stuff easier. So if you're ever feeling constipated, it's probably because you're low on oxytocin. Now, just because you're constipated doesn't mean that you should go out and play with your dog. If you're constipated, you should probably find a solution for that. But I am here to tell you, maybe getting a bunch of oxytocin can help a little bit. But if anyone's feeling constipated and they go out to play with the dog and it's getting worse, don't quote me on that. So that has been all for this video. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Especially comment. I need to know what you have learned in this video. If you have any questions for me, also comment or check out my blog at blogs.amoslands.org/RadarDogBlog. This is Jane Lee signing out.